Hey guys, my name is Laura, and today we're going to be going over how to bench press if you have never bench pressed before. So first we're going to be going over some common misconceptions that are keeping you from having better form for your individual body. We're going to go over how to set up your equipment, how to have the right rack height for bench pressing, and how to execute your sets safely. One of the biggest misconceptions about bench press form is that you have to keep your back flat on the bench. So this is pretty bad advice in my opinion, because one of the reasons why people say to keep your back flat on the bench is because then you have more range of motion. But in reality, when you see people arching or benching with an arch, that arch is meant to help keep your shoulder blades in a better position, which will help keep your shoulder joint in a better position. So we want to make sure that our back is actually not flat on the bench, and we want to set up with our shoulders down and back, which will extend our chest a little bit and just put our upper body in a better position to keep those shoulder joints safely, which I'll show you how to do in a moment. When we're starting our bench press, we want to make sure that our rack is the correct height. So an easy way to do this is you are just going to take your arm, turn your hand to a fist, put your hand on the bench, and then put the bar by your shoulder. So you're going to want the bar to be a little bit under the shoulder, because when your rack is the correct height, you're going to have it a little bit shorter than arm's length, so that you can take the bar out the rack easily. Now this is going to differ based off of grip width, but just for general rule of thumb, just for starters, usually this is going to be a good place to start. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is your grip width. So once you get the rack set to the correct height, you're going to lay it back on the bench, and then we're going to figure out where to put our hands on the bar. So when I'm teaching someone how to first bench press, my general rule of thumb is to go between these two markings on the bar, which is where the smooth becomes rough, and then the first ring or the power ring on the bar. So we're going to go halfway in between that just for starters. And obviously this can change as your technique individualizes and refines. So a lot of people end up a little bit wider, but just for starters, I typically like to start here, because going too wide can be a little bit unstable for beginners. All right, so now let's talk about how to set your body correctly on the bench to execute your set. So you're going to start obviously by lying down. Make sure you're centered on the bench. Make sure the bar is centered over your face. So when lying down, I usually tell people, let's put our eyeballs under the bench, and that's just going to give us enough clearance from the rack when we take the bar out. So from here, you're going to first start by tucking your shoulders down away from your ears, so you can see I already have some extension starting in my chest, and then placing your feet on the ground. So with my feet, I want them touching the floor, but I also want them actively pushing into the ground. And you want to push your feet down in a way that drives your shoulders more into the bench, like so. So right here, my feet are relaxed. My feet are on the floor but relaxed. And then I'm going to drive my feet down and in, and then drive my shoulders into the bench. That creates a nice passive arch here. I'm not really squeezing my back to hold this up. I'm just creating extension through my body. From there, hands, get your grip width. Wrap your thumbs around the bar, push up and out, stabilize the bar, bring it to your chest, and press it straight back to where you began. Execute your sets, your reps, and then the bar comes all the way into the rack, and then set them down the J hooks. So that's how I would coach someone through bench pressing if they have never done it before. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe for more tips, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.